Hi, I'm Loli, and I'm so glad you are here. This video is part of a Just of Imagination challenge, and the challenge items this month are flip-flops, placemat, and tumbling tower blocks. Are you curious to see what I meant? Let's go. For this project, I'm going to use some of these tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use some tape. I took a nice strip of tape and I'm going to tape it to my table. Here I used too little, but later on you'll see how I fix that and extend it a little bit. Then I started adding the tumbling tower blocks to my tape, trying to center them and trying to space them as equally as possible. In this step, I will use a quarter in between to space them correctly. I just didn't feel like it and I just eyeball it. Once I ran out of space on my tape, I flipped it over and I'm going to add more tape to the back, but I'm going to add 2 long strips. I want to have enough to be able to add more tumbling tower blocks to the tape and also have the tape fasten them when I'm done with this step. I continued adding tumbling tower blocks to the tape until I reached 20 tumbling tower blocks. Then I took some wood glue that I got from Dollar Tree from Loctite and I added it in between each one of the tumbling tower blocks. I did a generous amount because I wanted to make sure that it went in between the grooves, but I didn't want it to go all the way through the tumbling tower blocks so it will show on my end project. Then I bent it as you see right there and I used the tape to hold them together to create a horseshoe shape. And I cut off the excess tape and added it to the other side to give it a little bit more hold. Then I took a paper towel and I wiped off all the excess glue. While that piece dries, I'm going to create a couple of pairs of tumbling tower blocks. First, I was thinking of just putting them together like that, but then I decided to just put 2 next to each other, and I created 3 groups of tumbling tower blocks of 2, as you see right there. And at the end, I only needed 2, but I thought I was going to be using 3. But once I glued those 2 together, as you see there, belly to belly, I took some clamps from Dollar Tree and I placed them on each side or each end of the tumbling tower blocks on all 3 of the sets and left them to dry. Then I proceeded to create a little platform. So I started by gluing together sets of 3 tumbling tower blocks by gluing them on their sides. Then I started adding tumbling tower blocks to the side and to the top of that first set of 3. Once I had all these pieces glued together, I'm just wiping off the excess glue with a baby wipe. I ended up with a set of 6 on the bottom and 2 sets of 2 on the top of each one of those. And I'm going to add some more tumbling tower blocks to the bottom. And make sure to add glue on the side of the tumbling tower block and on the little edge as well, so they were united on both pieces of tumbling tower blocks that they are stuck to. I repeated this step one more time, adding another set of tumbling tower blocks to these 2 to even it out with the top section. Then I decided to make this actually a set of 3 just so I have a platform a little bit longer. So I added another set of tumbling tower blocks horizontally, as you see right there, to extend it a little bit, and then I'm going to do another set of 6 at the other end. And I wiped off any excess glue that seeped through. And we're going to let these sit and dry. The next day, I came back and I'm removing all the clamps. I didn't record when I clamped this. I added some clamps there to make sure that it stayed in place. It left a couple dents, but that's fine. I'm removing out my tape off of that piece and I'm checking to see how sturdy they are. For some reason, that last tumbling tower block didn't glue quite as well as I thought. So I just added a little bit more hot glue to that tumbling tower block and then re-added it. And I let it dry. But I'm going to add a little bit of hot wood glue to it so it will stay in place. Now it's time to build our structure. So I took the tumbling tower blocks that I glued together in sets of 2, and I'm going to glue them on top of each other. I only used 2, so I added a combination of wood glue and wood hot glue to attach them together. If you enjoyed this video so far, please don't forget to give it a big nice thumbs up. I appreciate it. Then I added hot glue and wood glue to one of the ends as well to attach it to the platform. And remove any excess glue that seeped through. And added some hot glue to the top as well so we are able to attach our horseshoe shape. Once all the glue is set, I'm going to take this mat that I got from Dollar Tree and I'm going to place this horseshoe shape on top of it. I wish I would have done it before I glued the platform. If you recreate this piece, trace your horseshoe shape onto your mat before adding the platform. It will just make your life a lot easier. Then using my scissors, I just cut off the shape. I took some Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint and I painted the entire wood piece with it. Now it's time to add that piece of mat to it. I used a combination of Fix All and wood hot glue to attach it. And look how cute this turned out. But I'm not done yet. I'm going to add some Spanish moss on the bottom section of the U. And I'm just going to add it on with a little bit of hot glue. I added a little bit too much, so I'm going to trim off the excess. And then I'm going to add some more hot glue on the ends and I'm going to fluff the Spanish moss as best as I can so it looks as neat as possible. Then I took a succulent that I got, I don't know where I got this, I'm going to say from Walmart, and I'm going to add some hot glue to the back and attach it right onto the Spanish moss and hold it in place. And that is it. Look how cute this turned out. Let me know what you think. So this video is part of the Just of Imagination Challenge, and it is hosted monthly by Jo from Jo DIYs and Brenda from Rustic and Lace DIYs. And the guest host this month is Craft Crumbs. The links to their channels and to their playlist will be linked in the description box below and also pinned in the comments. Make sure to head on over to their channels and to their playlist and show everyone some love. For the next inspiration today, we will be using the flip-flops. I used 4 pairs of flip-flops from Dollar Tree. I picked these ones with the lemons and I thought it was beautiful, the color combination. So then I took one of these reed forms from Dollar Tree and I'm going to add some ribbon to it. I added the ribbon as you see right there, added a little bit of hot glue onto the bottom section and looped it on top to create a little fastener. And then I wrapped that ribbon all along the entire reed form. It took me 1 1/4 rolls of this ribbon to completely cover it. Now comes the fun part. We are going to add these flip-flops to this reed form. I remove all the tags and I remove that plastic piece as well. We are going to now arrange these as best as we can. So here I used 2 different sizes. I used some 5/6 and some 7 8. I couldn't find them all on the same sizes, so I am going to put 2 of the bigger sizes in between 1 of each of the smaller sizes. So as you see right there, this is how I went over and arranged them. And I use some hot glue to attach them to the reed form. And I'm just making sure that everything is even before I place anything down. I wanted to go ahead and put down the north, east, south, and west flip-flops first, and then fill in the middles. If you're enjoying this video so far, please don't forget to give him a thumbs up. And while you're there, go ahead and subscribe. It is free and it means the world to me, and it truly helps my channel grow. And make sure that you leave me a comment and let me know what you think of each one of these projects as well. And share, because sharing is caring and it helps my channel grow as well. Thank you so much. And here we're going to add some more hot glue at the side here and at the last flip-flop. And we are done putting the flip-flops together. Then I'm going to use this wood round that I got from Dollar Tree. I thought it was the perfect combination and it just tied this whole thing together. So I'm just going to glue it to the edges of each one of the flip-flops, adding some hot glue at the end right here or at the heel, if you will. And we are going to add the wood round right into it. Now it's time to embellish it. So I decided to use some of this nautical rope from Dollar Tree, and I'm also going to use some pieces of this yarn from Dollar Tree as well. Unfortunately, I lost my footage of me doing this, but pretty much what I did was just wrap the yarn around the nautical rope while having both one of the yellow and one of the green at the same time next to each other as I wrapped it on. Then as you see here, I'm just gluing it all around the rim of the lemon, covering up those little holes that were the hangers and going all the way around the entire piece. Once I got to the end, I added some hot glue in between all the strands and wrapped it all together again, let that glue dry, and then I cut right there where I glued it together so nothing will unravel when I cut this. Then I added a little bit of hot glue at the end as well and glued the rest of the piece down and onto the other piece of rope. And that is it. Look how cool that is. I love it. Let me know what you think. For the next inspiration, we will be using the mat and some more tumbling tower blocks. But we're going to also be using this piece of MDF sign that we got from Dollar Tree during the St. Patrick's Day. Remove that rope off of it. And I'm going to remove that tag from the back as well and use some heat to soften up that glue. I'm going to remove that nice and easy, but it was still sticky, so I added some goof off to it. And I rubbed it with a little baby wipe. I tried to get off as much as I could. But of course, I had some more residue. I thought I didn't, but once I dried it up a little bit with my heat gun, it was revealed to me that it was still a bit sticky. But no problem, I went over with my sanding block and I sand off the rest of it. Once all was nice and clean, I painted it with some linen white chalk paint from Rust-Oleum. I left the middle section undone, as you see right there, but I did do the back because I'm going to be using a placemat. So I took my placemat, I'm going to place the board on top of it, and I'm going to mark it so I know exactly how much to cut off. And then with my scissors, I just cut off those sections. And here we go, how cute. Anyway, now we are going to take some wood glue and I'm going to add it to the back of my placemat. I just added a healthy amount of it and I'm going to just spread it around using a paintbrush. And then just attached it onto my sign. I am pressing it down from middle to the edges to avoid any bubbles and to make sure that every single edge is nicely attached. And now we're going to use some tumbling tower blocks. I'm going to take them and try to frame my sign using them. First, I thought I was going to use them like this so they will give me a shadow box effect, but then I changed my mind. So I decided instead to use them flat onto my surface instead. I added them around the entire sign. Unfortunately, I was a little bit too long with them, so I had to make some marks to cut some of the tumbling tower blocks a little bit shorter so everything will fit nicely. I used the tumbling tower block above it to mark exactly where I needed to cut the one underneath. Then I took out my miter shears to work with this. Other crafters make this look so easy. I went through HE double hockey sticks trying to do this. And this was a brand new blade that I put on this, guys. And still, I don't know, I guess my little hands, I don't know. But I got it done. And then off camera, I took my little sanding block and I sanded off the edges to make sure that everything was nice and smooth. Once everything fit nice and neat, I'm going to go ahead and paint my tumbling tower blocks. I painted them very carefully because I did not want to add any paint to the edges that I will be gluing. So I left all the edges or all the sections that were going to touch another tumbling tower block completely unpainted. And here are all our pieces nicely laid out. Now we are going to attach them to the sign using a combination of hot glue, actually hot wood glue and wood glue to do that. I started with the corners to make sure that everything matched perfectly. Being me, I'm just double checking again to make sure that everything matches properly before I glue anything down. And this is how it turned out. But we're not done yet. I'm going to take this sign that I got from Dollar Tree sometime back, and I'm going to just sand off any pieces of paper that are just sitting around kind of awkwardly, just so I have a nice finish on this. Then I gave it a total of 2 coats with my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. Once everything was nice and dry, we are going to take our sign and we're going to add it onto that board that we just painted. In order to attach it together, I use a combination of wood glue and hot wood glue. This bottom piece was an afterthought, otherwise I would have made this a little bit differently. I would have not painted the bottom of the tumbling tower blocks and leave a section of that board unpainted as well to ensure maximum adhesion, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and reinforce this with some tumbling tower blocks in the back as well. So I'm going to glue 2 tumbling tower blocks together with, again, a combination of the wood glue and wood hot glue. I made 2 sets of 2 because I did have a set of 2 already on the side there that I have done from one of the previous DIYs. Now it's time to attach these to the back of this. So I'm going to add some hot glue and some wood glue to 2 sides of the tumbling tower blocks, and I'm going to attach it to this back section of this sign. And I think that's nicely secured. Now it's time to embellish the sign a little bit. So I'm going to use some of these greeneries that I got from Dollar Tree. These came as like a kind of like a hanging vine. I'm going to just deconstruct the pieces a little bit and add them alongside the bottom of the sign. I started with the ends, adding a piece of greenery on the outside section. Then I'm going to take the other pieces and kind of like put them on top of each other so the one leaf covers the other glued section of the vine, and I keep doing that until I did 4 in each direction. My friend, if you're still with me this far into the video, I want to give you a warm thank you. I appreciate you so much. Leave me a smiley face emoji in the comments so I know who you are. I truly appreciate you. Thank you so much. Then I'm going to take some of these ferns and I'm going to put them in between of the other greenery. So I'm just going to remove that little piece that you would attach it into the pick with, and then add a little bit of hot glue at the end and glue it in between the 2 ferns. And here in the middle, I decided to put this sunflower. I just added some hot glue to the back with a plastic piece meets the flower to make sure that it doesn't deconstruct, because I'm going to be cutting off that piece that's on the end And I'm going to add a healthy amount of hot glue on the back of this and add it right there at the center and the bottom. And that is it for this one. Let me know what you think. And here we go with the final reveal. Don't forget to let me know in the comments your thoughts about each one of these projects. I truly appreciate it. My friends, as always, thank you so much for watching. Be blessed, be a blessing, and craft responsibly. And if you would like to follow me on social media, here are my social media links. And don't forget to visit my friends in the playlist. If you would like to watch some more of my videos, here's a suggestion, and you are more than welcome to binge away with this playlist as well. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. You're amazing. Bye.